All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Drums and Drams live stream here Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Ready to have a good time this evening. And I've got some really fun stuff planned. And a lot of that's going to hinge on whether or not my lovely wife, Sarah, poured a good blind flight. No, I know she did. She always does. She was a little worried about it tonight. But I don't think she should be. She's always doing a great job with that stuff. I've got a great comparison as well. The Laurelly 16 year, which I've already checked out here on a live stream about a month or so ago. I'm going to be putting that head-to-head up against the Remus Gatsby Reserve, which, thanks to Amy Boehm, who I'm not sure if she's in the chat yet, or if she's going to be here tonight. Thanks to Amy, I have a 2-ounce sample of the Gatsby Reserve. So that's enough to do a comparison tonight and to make a video for it. She also sent me Magnus Cigar Blend Batch 131. I haven't had any of these newer batches, as well as Nassif Family Christmas 2020. So that's probably something light whiskey, but I've never heard of the Family Christmas. Anyways, what is up? Hope you're all doing well. Hey, I just poured out my, weekly Eagle Rare 10 store pick to get this night started, as well as to prime my palate for this blind flight. So let me just say cheers to you guys. Let me know what you're sipping on. What do you have in your glass this evening? And hope you're doing well. Holiday season. This is the last Thursday before Christmas, so cheers. Just wanted to turn that light up a little bit. Okay, let me say hello to a couple people in the chat, and then I will tell you all the order of events this evening, kind of update, plug things, all that good stuff, and then we'll get into it. Hit that like button if you wouldn't mind, if you're jumping in this evening. Gary Franchi, what's up, dude? Great winter apocalypse. Yeah, I don't know where you guys are at and how it's coming down there, but I think we're just going to get a bunch of rain that's going to freeze over. Yeah, I think we're looking clear for right now, but maybe around 1 or 2 in the morning is when it's going to really start unleashing hell, or maybe not. I feel like they always say this stuff's going to happen, and it never really does, in Ohio at least. Top Dog, agree, same here in Nashville. What's up, man? Toshi, good to see you. Hey, I've got some samples. Toshi, last week, did I taste the Elijah Craig 23 and the Turkey Donut? Did I taste those last week on the stream? I cannot remember. If I didn't, I would like to taste them tonight. If anybody else can remember as well. Jay, what's up, man? Good to see you. I see Darrell's in the house. That's awesome. Mark Vasco, hey, dude. Good to see you. And Amy is in here. Great. So we got Amy, Christine as well. Christine Vasco. I see Eric is in the house. Amy. Post-winter solstice is something to celebrate for sure. More daylight. Yeah, that's for sure. I see Bev Porter. Merry Christmas, Bev. And David. Oh, my God. Negative 35-degree wind chill all day. Where are you? Negative 35. Wow. Oh, package came on Friday, says Toshi. That's right. Okay. Wise Guy Stu says, what's up, tasting whiskey, telling us food flavors. Michael S. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all staying warm. Those west of the Sierra Nevadas. I mean, east. Duh. T. Jarrett, Andrew Kelly. Okay, guys. So here's what we're going to be doing. The big thing I want to do tonight is just a typical blind flight. This one I do not believe has a theme. But Sarah has poured me out 5 whiskeys on the table. These are the ones that have the toppers. And so that's kind of like the main event, the heavyweight showdown tonight is going to be that 5-pour blind flight where I'm going to try to guess, what am I guessing? Age, proof, distillery, label, and type of whiskey. So the 5 things that I try to typically guess we're going to go through that blind flight. And then at the end, I'm going to order them before I reveal them. And I'll reveal them from worst to best as we go through that. The reason I'm doing a blind flight tonight, one, I wanted to do it last week, and I forgot to have her pour me some. But at the same time, next Friday, I have my first blind challenge in quite a long time. And it's not against an easy opponent. It's against Matt Porter, the world's top whiskey taster, ADHD Whiskey. So that's going to be Friday, December 30th, 10 p.m. Eastern on thewhiskeychannel.com. We're going to host it over there with David and Kira. Samples courtesy of Toshi Bake. We have 6 samples in the flight. I'm looking at them on a shelf down here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I have to train tonight, and that's what this is all about with these 5 blind pours. Yes, please click that like, everybody. Please, please, please. It's free. It's easy. And if you don't do it, you must really hate fun or something, or whiskey. So the other thing I want to tell you guys real quick is that Sarah and I are both getting sick right now. We woke up this morning. She had it a little bit yesterday. Woke up this morning, and we are on a downward trajectory. So I could have 0 sense of smell tomorrow or the next day. When I get sick, I get so congested every time I can't smell for about a week. If that happens, it sucks. I'll do my best to make some content outside of a review, just something different. But I have to get rid of this shit before the blind flight next week. And I have enough, I'm not congested right now. I've been doing pretty well today. I'm heavily medicated. So we're going to go into tonight and hope that my palate and my nose keep it together for this evening. But she took a COVID test this morning. It's negative, so that's a good sign, I guess. Although I don't know what's worse at this point, having that or having a common cold. Everything's morphed so much. As long as I can smell and taste, I don't care what I have. Last thing before I start this evening, we're going to take a look at this Backbone pick by Matt Porter, 8 years, 4 months MGP. Single barrel, and I have a comparison to do, like I said earlier, with the Lauralee, and we're going to pretend this is the Gatsby Reserve. It's the Volstead bottle, but I have the sample of the Gatsby, both highly aged MGP at the exact same proof, and then I have some other random samples I can get into throughout the evening as well. So let's get to it. Matt Porter, what's up, dude? Yeah, Michael, I know. Sudafed, emergency, liquid IV, whiskey. I'm on the cycle now. Okay, excuses already, says Wise Guy. No excuses. There are no excuses in this. Hey, is Joe W in here? Joe, if you're in here, say hello. If Joe is in here, let me know. Let's start off with this MGP head-to-head before we get into the flight. So let me see if I can get the secondary camera to zoom in here. There we go. It's a little overexposed. Sorry about that. There we go. There's the Lauralee. And right next to it over here is what we're going to be comparing it to, the Remus Gatsby Reserve. Both, as you can see, at 97.8 proof. The Gatsby is 15 years old. The Lauralee is 16 years old. So it's going to make for a great comparison. 1 year of difference. Otherwise, we're looking at the exact same stuff at the exact same proof. Very excited about this, and I'm excited to make a video on it too. Cool. Just want to make sure I leave myself a good amount in that sample. T. Jarrett says, add lots of vitamin D3. I actually take 5,000 IUs every day. So I got that in this morning, and I just bought zinc tonight, 50 milligram tab. So I'm going to pop a zinc in the morning as well. Okay. Oh, shit. Which one did I pour in which? Hang on. Maybe I can tell. Oh, yeah, I can tell. Okay. So Lauralee's on the left then. My left. It's on your right. Sandeep says, hi, Cam. Howdy. How is it going? Eric. Sandeep says, hi, everybody watching. What's up, man? So let's start off with the Remus Gatsby Reserve now. Okay, so I'll do this to keep these things straight, even though that's not the Gatsby bottle. We'll put this here and act like it is. Higher the proof, the more germs killed. Maybe. So let me know if you guys have tried either the Lauralee or the Gatsby Reserve as I go along here. This is my first time with the Gatsby. Yeah. Huh. Super dark profile, but it's almost like I'm smelling something that's just far away. You know, like you can kind of tell something's there, but this is so light on the nose. You have to really sit and like focus on the fact that you're smelling something. I know that sounds silly, but this is not a very aromatic, explosive whiskey out of the glass. That's the nicest way I can put that, because it's a little unfortunate that we have such highly aged MGP here, and it's just, it's like it's not even there almost. And then when you go over to the Lauralee, it's definitely jumping out of the glass a little bit more. And I think I said this last time, but the Lauralee reminds me almost of like a Four Roses profile. It's just got this really herbal black pepper spice that sits on the top of it. And it actually, I've never noticed this on the Lauralee. Kind of has a popcorn note to it. And I'm not accustomed to that from old MGP. But it almost has a popcorn note. The Daily Annual Weekly says Merry Christmas. Daily Annual Weekly. That's awesome. Mark says, we have the Gatsby planning at cracking at Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Nice. Okay. I wanted to get one. I mean, I just never had the chance. Amy, I swear the Remus topper weighs 2 pounds. I love the toppers. It's what Bardstown Bourbon Company wishes their toppers were still like. Or maybe they don't. Actually, I don't think they do, because they got rid of them. Huh. Wow. So I think this is really a tough call for me, because I'm heavily disappointed, and we're just on the nose, remember, right now on this. But I'm really disappointed in Gatsby and how it's almost like it's not there. There's not a strong nose to it whatsoever. Even at 97.8 proof, this is Eagle Rare at 90. That thing is exploding out of the glass compared to the Gatsby. Okay, so that's a complaint. But what you do get out of the nose on the Gatsby is extremely, extremely dark. Yeah, it's so earthy and so much plum and like black and purple fruits. A lot of tobacco. Yeah, incredible amount of tobacco. And just a ton of oak. Like, it really reminds me of the Volstead. It reminds me of a darker version of the Volstead. Like, all of the notes are darker. And there's definitely not the candied orange that you get on the Volstead. At only 1 year of difference, that's kind of interesting. But no candied orange on the Gatsby. And everything's darker, but it's just like you cut the proof in half almost on the nose. But what you do get out of the nose, I love. So that's a really tough thing. This could end up coming down to like a subjective call. Like, hey, I just like that better, even though the whiskey itself is not, well structured or whatever. So then on to the Lauralee. The Lauralee smells like 5, 6, 7 years younger on the nose, which is kind of crazy. It legitimately smells like a Four Roses pick. Like a tier 1, tier 2 Four Roses pick. OBSK. I mean, And I don't know if it actually smells that way or if it's just in this side-by-side, but I'm just talking about this side-by-side right now. Yeah. The Gatsby Reserve reminds me of old OKI stuff. It's got the dark plum, grape, those kinds of notes, blackberry, fig, that genre of profile. And yeah, the Laurely, it just smells younger. It actually smells perfumed and like there are rose notes on here. Strange. So I'm going to start with the Gatsby on the palate. Oh. Oh, I love the flavor on the Gatsby. Oh my God, that's so up my alley. Wow, really dry on the back end. Yeah, surprisingly dry. You would not expect it off the nose to be that dry. Yeah, so much tobacco. Tobacco earthiness. Earthy, wet, dank oak. Those kinds of notes. Oh, it's so close, It's like a Scotch drinker's bourbon. Z-Man, what's up? Cheers and happy holidays to you as well. Travis, good evening to you. Toshi says, I got a Gatsby. Not bad, but underwhelming. Yeah. The nose. What nose? Seriously. I'm going to scroll through here. 38 degree Arizona. Sunny, but 38 degrees in Arizona, says Z-Man. And JG says, wind chill, negative 31 in central Iowa. Oh my God, guys. That's crazy. All right, on to the Laurely on the palate. Wow. While I'm not the biggest fan of the flavors as much, the palate it's night and day. I mean, the Laurely totally wins out in terms of just how much it attacks the palate with all of that herbal and peppery spice. It's a little bit like acidic and tart on the Laurely. It's got those really bright, almost like pomegranate or cranberry tart elements that feels like it's pulling the moisture out of your mouth. Although it's actually not as drying as the Gatsby Reserve. Shredward, what is up? Yeah. I don't know, guys. Has anybody else done this comparison, or at the very least tried the Laurely, let's say? Wow. I think a half and half blend is in order here. I've got about the same amount in both. Let's do it. I think I'm going to have to say that I am a bigger fan of the Gatsby. And I didn't expect that going into this after I heard everything negative about the Gatsby Reserve. I think subjectively it is... I don't know if that's right, though. It's hard for me to reconcile just how young the Laurely tastes in comparison. I love how dark the Gatsby Reserve is. I don't know. Let's try the blend. Let's see if the blend does any better. And what's the proof of the blend? It's 97.8, because it has to be. Tim, what's the Laurely? Yeah. Here you go. The Laurel is part of the Maryland Heritage Collection. It came out with the Sherwood, Sherbrooke, and Mount Vernon Ryes, the 14-year MGP Ryes. So this is 16-year MGP bourbon, not rye. And it's not that the Laurel is bad whatsoever. I like the Laurel. You know, it's a very interesting take on MGP, unlike any aged MGP I've ever had, because it tastes so much like a Four Roses product that it's kind of scary. It tastes like a Four Roses OBSK pick that you poured a little bit of like older MGP into to just kind of round it out a bit. Oh, wow. The blend is actually pretty nice. Yeah, the blend. This might be it. Jeb, if you want the best of both worlds, I just did a 50-50 blend. The 50-50 blend, in my opinion, is where it's at with these two. It's not perfect. Definitely dry on the back end, but both of them are dry on the back end. But that spice from the Laurel is helping to balance out the flatness of the Gatsby. Christine says, my poor brother's taking the red eye. San Francisco to Cleveland lands right when the temp drops. We have flash freezing. Welcome back to Ohio for him. Eesh. It's tough coming back from SFO. I love the Bay Area. Any opportunity to go there or to go to like Santa Barbara. Oh, Santa Barbara's like perfect weather. Wise Guy says Gatsby is the best Remus ever released. I disagree. I think Volstead for me, without a shred of doubt in my mind, I am a Volstead person through and through. I've got one backup left. I'd love to trade for another backup. The Volstead is one of my favorite pours. I think it's so good. So full of flavor. It's not perfect, but I think it's a little bit better for me than the Gatsby. Wow. I think the blend is it. Shredward, this is my experience as well. Mine is in the same stages as what you're talking about. It's like it's a very special bottle for me and Sarah. It has to do with our engagement, but I'll tell you what, it's hard to drink it anymore. Okay. So that's interesting. Maybe I'll come back to this blend at the end of the stream and just see how it's doing in the glass. Hang on, let me take one more little sip of the Remus Gatsby off the sample. I think I like the Gatsby better. Just based on the tasting notes, not based on the whiskey structure or whatever. So what's next? Yeah, Dustin, the Volstead's silly good for me. And if honestly, I don't know how much water they put in it to get it down to 100 proof. Since, that Gatsby was only 97.8 at cast strength, maybe the Volstead was only like 101, 102. I'm not sure. But if the barrel proof of that would have been like 115, hey, I can't imagine how good that would be. Travis says, Ross and Squibb needs to go the route of a high-proof specials release. Never had MGP above 125. Wonder if it would... Yeah, I mean, you see most of that stuff coming out of the barrel, though, around, let's say, 114, Like, the Backbone I'm going to taste in a second from Matt is 122.8. The Junkies are releasing one similar 8.5 year, right around this proof as well. But I think that, who knows, they might not have enough stock or barrel inventory to kind of push out a release of any notable size above, let's say, 130 proof. You start seeing these MGP one-off barrels. I think Rare Character got one or two, and Four-Gate got one that's like 144 proof. But those are, I'm imagining those have got to be outlier barrels. And if Ross and Squibb had 20 or 30 of them and they could do a release, that would be really cool. But I don't know if they would even have enough. Yeah. 70 people in the chat. That's amazing. We're about to keep this keep this night going. We're going to get to the flight, but I've got a couple other things I want to taste here, including some Dusties from Toshi Bake. Why not get into those next? And then we'll go on to Matt Porter's bottle, and then we'll get into the blind flight, and then we'll get off here because the Whiskey Row channel is going to be hosting a holiday live stream tonight, and as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go jump onto that stream. So I'm going to push people over to that as well. But before that, we have plenty to do. Yes, Mark, please hit that like, guys. We got 70 in chat, only 43 likes. Please hit the like button. It'll help so much, I promise. It's free, it's easy to do, and I appreciate it endlessly. By the way, I released 2 new videos this week so far. One, the EJ Curly Single Barrel, which I know not a lot of people are looking for that review necessarily, but go check it out. I'm trying to keep all my reviews right around 8 minutes now to keep them short. EJ Curly Single Barrel, and then today I dropped the Old Fit 17 review, as I'm now trying to source a sample of the 19 year that I can review, because I'm not going to get a bottle, and I can't pay $1,000 on secondary for a 19 year. But I wanted to get the 17 year review out there, so I dropped that today. Go check that out. Not right now, later. Okay. James, what's up, man? And Derek, I think the key for rare character 4-gate Blom is aging them. Oh, yeah, that's right. Blom had one, too. The old Seagram's warehouses are notorious for lowering proof over time. Yeah, I would be curious to know if any of the warehouses that Ross and Squibb has now have hazmat aged stuff in it or not. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So here's sample 1. Wild Turkey. That says donut. This is a Wild Turkey single barrel. What year is this single barrel, Toshi? Is it 04? I can't remember. 111.5 maybe. It's a little worn. But let's say 111 proof on this turkey donut. And then look at this bad mother you-know-what. It's too early for the F-bomb. Come on, zoom in. Or focus. There we go. Elijah Craig 23. This is going to be exciting. Let me see if I can get those pictures, Toshi, that you sent me. Yeah, Jake, what's everybody drinking tonight? Drop it down in the chat what you're sipping on. I'm gonna drop in a couple of pictures here to the chat if I can get them. So save all. Give me just a second, y'all. I'm gonna go back to this half and half blend of Gatsby and Laurel, which still is smelling even better now. Yeah, I would say that is the solution. Okay, let's add an overlay here. Just going to go ahead and upload all these photos. 101 Rye, first time trying. It says the daily, annual, weekly. I love that name. 101 Rye. Yeah, it's an interesting one. And that's a tricky pour on a blind flight. Jerry has got Yellow Spot Triple Cask. I've not had that yet. What do you think of it, Jerry? I love when Trev drops in and says one thing and leaves and doesn't ever hear the response to that. So I'm not even going to respond to Trev because he's not going to hear it. So he won't text me back, won't set up a blind flight with me, but he can jump on my live and say, what's up? I don't know, Trev. Daniel says, Old Fitz 19 or George T. Stagg. Which would you grab if you did have 1K for a second? God, man. Having never tasted them, that's a really tough call. Having tasted Old Fitz 17 and George T. Stagg, the last iteration from 2020, people are saying the 2022 is even better of the Stagg. God. I'm such a sucker for the Heaven Hill profile. But the really prudent and logistical part of me says grab the thing at the higher proof, you know? Oh, I don't know, man. I'm just such a sucker. Jeb's drinking the Laurely. A couple 101s in here. Dusty Dan Sagamore. Oh, any Sagamore pick is going to be the way. 8-year, will it? Nice, wise guy. Nice. John says GTS over Old Fitz 19 gotta be. Yeah, maybe. But I'm telling you what, if I had Heaven Hill 17 or George T. Stagg, I'm going Heaven Hill 17 11 out of 10 days. Oh, Trev's still here. Well, I didn't think you would be here to hear me talk smack, dude. Because you always bounce. No, I know. We're all busy, dude. I'm just messing with you. Trev, he's too busy getting jacked. Derek, the right answer to this is 3 different batches of cigar blend. Well, actually, I'm going to taste this one that Amy sent me. I have not had any of the new cigar blend batches, and I've heard that they've fallen off a little bit from some people. I thought Nancy said she was using more old MGP in the blend as opposed to the old Barton that she had been going for with the higher proofs. So I would imagine they would actually improve for most people's palates, but I don't know. I'm going to be really excited to try this tonight. Mark Vasco sitting on some ginger ale. You got to get some whiskey in there. Okay. What did I say I was doing? I just, I got distracted. Let's pour this. I'm only going to pour a little bit of these because I really, I want to make sure I have just a bit over 1 ounce of each for reviews, especially the Elijah Craig 23. I definitely want to review. The turkey donut, maybe that one doesn't get reviewed because it's such a specific bottling, you know? Yeah, Daniel, it's like that's the toughest call, man. All right. So I'm going to start with the Elijah Craig 23 year. Actually, let's see. I think Toshi answered me earlier. Donut single barrels were from the late 90s, bottled at cask strength. Not sure if this is from 98 or 99. Okay. It's just going to not show. The images are not loading for some reason. That's weird. I uploaded these pictures, Toshi, to my StreamYard app, and I can't. They're not showing up on the screen. So let me try this one more time here. Just upload one at a time and see if it actually works. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show the bottle pictures. So that's a little unfortunate, but it's okay. So I'll just let you all know that the Elijah Craig 18. Let me see here. I'll let you know the bottling dates of the Elijah Craig. The 23, not the 18. So it was barreled in February of 1990. So this is pre-fire. Matt Porter, dude. Why the anger? Did you read the description of the video? Is that why? Of this stream? What's up, Ben Little? Daniel, have you tried the new Parkers? I've not tried it yet. Okay. Yeah, Toshi, I don't know why it's not working. I'm going to start, actually, because of age, I'm going to start with the turkey donut. So let's do this turkey donut. Wow. 111 proof. Actually smells a little hotter than that to me. Well, maybe not. It's just jumping out of the glass, and the last two whiskeys, at least that Gatsby, were definitely not jumping out of the glass. Matt, I can't wait to go head-to-head with you, dude. All right, so Wild Turkey Dusties are probably one of my least experienced. I'm the least experienced with those in terms of common Dusties that people drink and talk about. This one has some dusty funk to it, but not really as much as you would expect from a product that's, 2, maybe 3 decades old in terms of distillation. It's really, really cinnamon forward. So like that reflects in some ways on the current Wild Turkey profile, which is, heavy, heavy cinnamon spice, some cherry notes in there, but overall pretty darn bright. What this has is it has the modern turkey cinnamon spice, but the overall profile of the brightness that I just mentioned, that's not the case. So the cinnamon's there, but the profile right behind the cinnamon is really dark and rich and caramely, for the lack of a better word. Butterscotch as well. So some of that like musty butterscotch scent that you get in some Dusties, definitely hanging out here, kind of making up the crux of the whiskey on the nose, along with that cinnamon spice. And there's definitely oak, but there's not a lot of, it's not like heavy oak. The oak is sweet. It's kind of blended in with the funky butterscotch. Dark cherry note in here as well. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. There's a note I'm going to call in just a second, but I want to taste it first. That's a spicy biatch. Wow. Nutty. Nutty on the palate. Peanuts. Did not expect that based on the nose. Very spicy. You often, with a lot of these Dusties, they kind of settle. Sometimes offered at lower proofs. Generally offered at lower proofs, I would say, with a lot of these older whiskeys. This at 111, at cask strength. It's spicy. It's intense. The one note that I'm going to call out on this, which I don't call often, but when I do, people think I think they think I'm an idiot, is like old cheese. Like cheese that's been like if you ever go to an event and there's a bunch of cheese on a platter at a table with all the stuff you can serve yourself, and it's been sitting there for quite a while, and you can kind of smell the cheese coming off the table because it's been sitting out, it's getting warm. That's what this has, a little bit of that going on in here. Frey Ranch Rye has that. Trying to think of what other whiskeys I've had with that kind of aged cheese note. A lot of Dusties, though. Oh, geez. Peter White coming in with the hard question, man. Wise guy, did your eyes just water? Yeah, probably. Probably just a little bit. All right, sorry, guys. Let me catch up in the chat. James says, Porter comes in with the hard number 1. EC23, okay, bottled in 2014, but distilled pre-fire, which is very cool. Going back here, talking about cigar blend from 5 minutes ago. Daniel says that Nancy says MGP again now, hence the lower proofs, but I noticed the latest write-ups don't include the ages anymore. This, I did not realize that, Daniel. Well, there you go. As transparent as Nancy is, and, as detailed as she is, to not include the ages probably is signifying something that a lot of us don't want to believe. Kilko, what's up, man? Hope you have a good holiday as well. Wise guy, my money's on camp. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Shredward, what I might do is I might mix batch 1, Russell's 13, which is the spiciest of the 3 batches so far. I might mix that with Turkey 17 bottled and bond to see if it rounds it out. The newest batch of Russell's 13, the LL/KE on the laser code, that batch almost resembles the 17 bottled and bond because most of the stock in that batch, I believe, is like 19 and 20 years old. Matt is washed up, says Wise Guy. I don't think Matt's washed up, but we'll see. You can't overcome the world's top whiskey taster. We'll maybe not. I don't know. Beware the cheese. cheese when it becomes rubbery. Yeah, Christine, that's pretty much it. Amanda Ross, what is up? It's Amanda from Apex this summer. Hope all is well. The channel's been really helpful in picking out what to try next. Take care. Have a happy new year. Amanda, awesome. It's good. Thanks for jumping in and saying something. Amanda was part of this piece that we did over the summer, this percussion concerto, which was just insanely difficult. And I have a video and a really nice recording of it. I just need to go through and edit it so we can get it finalized. And I'll certainly share that here on the channel. And I've been wanting to share some more music stuff. Somebody commented on one of the videos today and said that I should post some more music stuff. So I think I'm going to get into that. Yeah, Toshi, I'm curious what you're saying about this. Some sweet oak on the nose. Lots of that spice in the back palate, but doesn't punch you in the finish. Just holds well. No spikiness to me. It's getting more cherry. Yeah, it's getting sweeter and more cherry to me. More into that fruit note and less. It's moving away from the dusty butterscotch caramelized notes. I dig it. I really dig it. Every dusty turkey I've had, I've loved. And I actually prefer dusty turkey at a little bit of a lower proof for whatever reason. Right around 100 proof, I think, is sweet spot. Jeb moved on to Cigar batch 122. Which one did Amy send? 131. Okay, maybe that's from the same run. Matt, come on. Yeah, I'm not gonna pour any more 114 right now. You know what? May as well. My Granddad 114, my 89, is running low. I have one backup in the basement, but I don't want to pop it. So I need to make sure this thing lasts me. But I'm just going to take a little nip off the top. Damn it. I got a mouthful instead. It's not the worst thing to ever happen. Don't quote that. Yeah, I'm going to go Old Granddad on that. Yeah, Old Granddad's deeper coffee. Just much darker notes overall. And again, that grapefruit note on the 114. There's all this dark stuff. And then there's this grapefruit, melon, sourness, fruity quality in it. It's so strange to me. Back to the turkey. Yeah, certainly brighter. Still a really good whiskey, but I'm going to go Granddad on that. Cam has a drinking problem. Well, you know who next week, who's missing? Grease. I wonder if he's going to pop in. But, you know, Grease has the OG belt. If it was me versus Matt versus Grease, that would be chaos and very fun. Yeah, Toshi, I got to hold on to that. Yeah, Toshi, I think the spice component of the turkey definitely is going to stand out. How many triangles would you give the wild turkey? 4 out of 5 triangles, or maybe 4 2/3. You can only then it's just 4 triangles and a line, or you know, just an angle. All right, guys, let's move on. Last sample from Toshi here of the bunch is going to be Elijah Craig 23 year, which is not something I ever thought I'd be trying. 90 proof on this one, so we're going down in proof, but because of the age, I think this order makes sense. Palate's clear with some water, so let's get into it. The sweetest oak. If you can make this into a perfume. Unfortunately, my one complaint on the nose, Toshi, I'm sorry, is that the Elijah Craig 23, for how insane it is, it smells like It smells like whiskey after you've put an ice cube in it and the ice is melted and watered it down. It's got that watered down smell to it. And I know it is legitimately and literally watered down, but it's actually coming across that way where you're kind of smelling, like, the way that I would describe it is, if this is whiskey straight out of the barrel and you start to water it down and you start to break things apart, eventually it starts to get so broken apart and so fractured that it starts to just lose stuff. And the way that it's manifesting in the Elijah Craig 23, I think, with this amount of water to get it down to 90, is that there's this cohesion that was probably there. Best comparison might be Evan Williams 23 at 107 proof. But with this water, you almost start to smell like individual things that are sticking out because it's so broken down. I don't know if that's a good analogy or metaphor, but in my mind, I can smell the corn. Like, it smells like you did this, and you're smelling the corn kernels, you know, like the actual grain itself. But yes, there is the most lush and velvety chocolates and sweet oaks and caramels and vanillas, like classic with a capital C. So it smells so good, but man, if there was a little extra proof in this, it would be outstanding. Damn, Toshi. That's like that sweet oak that King of Kentucky has. Heaven Hill 17 has. What else has this kind of sweet oak? Very few bottles. I mean, Evan Williams 23 does have it some, but it's a little less refined than this. The sweet oak on here, oh my God. It's like a blanket. It's like the softest blanket on your tongue. Damn. I am very blessed to be drinking these pours tonight, I'll tell you that much. This, the turkey donut, 16, 15-year MGP, old granddad. I'm telling you guys, I don't take this stuff for granted, and I think whiskey's a really special thing. Peter White, Rhetoric 24 and 25. Yes. Okay, that's a great call out. Actually still have. This is a Rhetoric 23-year sample. Yeah, very similar. It's a little less pronounced on that Rhetoric 23. It's more of a dark fruit sweet oak, whereas this is more of just a straight up classic caramel chocolate vanilla sweet oak, which is what you would expect, I think, from Heaven Hill. Okay. We're just racking up the empty glasses. Let me clean up a little bit around here. Then we have one more taste. What is in this glass? Oh, the MGP blend. Okay. So what we have to do next, one more bottle, which is Matt's Backbone pick, and then we're going to get into the blind flight for the evening. Got my test card ready for the camera focus for the blind flight. Yeah, Christine says whiskey's special and the connections made through whiskey are special. Yeah. I mean, I agree with a lot of people that whiskey, like special bottles, a lot of people save special bottles to be opened with friends. I 100% agree. I need to say that differently. People save special bottles to open for special occasions with friends. And in my mind, I think whiskey itself can be the special occasion. And wine, the more I'm like watching some wine YouTubers right now. And again, super early. Like you could put a Cabernet Franc next to a a Merlot for me, and I couldn't tell you the difference, right? I'm just super early in this, but I'm very interested in it. But the same thing with wine, like going out and spending $4,000 on a bottle of Petrus, and that being the occasion that you open that bottle, as opposed to needing the occasion to open the bottle. You know, I guess it depends on how much money you put into these things or your own point of view, but I think whiskey in and of itself is special. Yeah, Peter, this is part of the reason I like to do the blind flight afterwards. Number one, when I'm loosened up and I've had a couple of drinks, I'm actually better with blinds. I know that's like someone saying, oh, if I'm hammered, I can play darts better. But I think it's actually true. Like I'm a little more creative in my head with tasting notes or with interpretation of what I'm getting on the nose and palate. But yeah, if Sarah poured me all like bottom shelfers here, that's going to be really hard. Yeah, Bev, there's, this depends on who you are, but yeah, a bottle of Petrus wine, I mean, 4K is cheap pretty much, depending on the vintage, it seems. Daniel, I don't really have any right now. I'm just bouncing around. Constantine Baum, Wine King is interesting, but maybe not the most like educational. I'm not going to go there, and I guess maybe I haven't watched enough content to fully know what I'm going to get out of each channel, but Constantine does a really good job presentationally. But I think a lot of the wine guys on YouTube, to me, it feels, because they go through these different certifications and trainings, and again, all of this is coming from somebody that doesn't know anything, so everything with a grain of salt, please, but they go through such a strict training when they start evaluating wines. Medium plus body, acidity, this color, tannin structure. It seems to me like it becomes a little sterile and it's less creative. And I think when people step out of the box to give like really innovative or creative tasting notes or whatever, people don't actually like that. Whereas in the whiskey world, I think we actually like whiskey descriptions that strive to be more relatable. Like sometimes saying caramel is the most relatable thing to say, I think. But sometimes saying like, opening the page of an old book and smelling it, that either sounds really pretentious or even more relatable than caramel, like just depending on the situation, the whiskey, who you're talking to, and how you've set it up and your personality. Like, I don't know. So check out Constantine, though. Constantine Baum. Look at this guy. I don't believe you for a second, Trev. Okay, I'm checking the chat, and then we're gonna get into this last pour. Okay. I'm gonna take the MGP glass and I'm gonna reuse this for Matt's. So let me rinse this. I need to get some water in me too. The Trev call out. Well, we got 69 in the chat, 70 now. Please hit that like button if you have not already. We'll greatly appreciate it. So let's get into Slippin' Jimmy. That's what she said. Or something. Something. Here we go. So Matt Porter, I've got a backup on the way. They unfortunately didn't ship these together, which bummed me out. I ordered them like a few hours apart, and they shipped one immediately, and the other one came a few days later, so I'm not going to get my discounted shipping. That's okay, though. So this is, as you can see, 61.4% ABV, 122.8 proof, and low yield. 120 bottles in this barrel, and that's a really good sign. You can see Matt's beautiful face here, Slippin' Jimmy. And we'll go around to the back, and you can see it's 100 months old, or 8 years, 4 months. Okay. I tried an 8.5-year Backbone pick at Pours in the Park with the Junkies. Can't remember who had that pick. Fantastic stuff. Totally outdid its age. Color on this is a very dark amber, almost with ruby, almost like ruby kind of tones in it, like red. Great color to this. Trev, I thought you were being sarcastic, but you're watching a little bit of wine stuff as well. So I did not realize that, man. So Joe W. I don't know if Joe is in here, but speaking of wine folly, I actually bought this book, Trev, and I brought it in here to, if Joe was in the chat, he's the one who recommended this. So I picked this up, and I just bought a case of wine a little bit ago. I was at the wine shop about 2 hours ago, picking out single varietal stuff so that I can do some side-by-sides. Yeah, and I've heard of this name, Trev, but I haven't watched this stuff. Cool. I'm gonna have to check some of those out that you're talking about, Trev. All right, so let's check out Slippin' Jimmy. Whew, that smells so good. So when I first opened this, I think it got here yesterday, I poured it out. It was still cold from being shipped over, and it smelled like my Smoke Wagon single barrel. The Rare and Limited hot and spicy barrel. This is just about the same proof. Now that it's warmed up, it's a little bit woodier, a little bit drier and woodier on the nose than I first thought yesterday. Obviously, I'm coming off of some ridiculous pours, so keep that in mind too. But I'm getting a lot of burnt orange, burnt cherry, cinnamon, like just a lot of cinnamon spice, a lot of these burnt fruit notes. Let me go in for a sip, get this on the palate. Ooh. Oh, man. You got to get this thing on the palate first, I think. Yeah. It's a really high proof MGP barrel. 122.8. Yeah, 122.8. That's really, really high. And I'm not used to actually drinking MGP at this proof. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be at this proof, but I'm actually used to it being a little rounder. Like, this is so spicy and aggressive that it's out of character for me. It's almost like, what's a good comparison to that? I don't know. Maybe like drinking Old Fitz at barrel proof or something. Like something that just that you just don't ever get to do. So when you do it, you're like, that's a little bit weird. Still not a good comparison, but I don't know what else. Oh, like a Michter's 10 rye. Like you don't get to drink that at cast strength, not the 10. And now I'm starting to get into a really nice vanilla note on this Matt. So it's showing some age. It's showing notes beyond its age on the nose. So one note that I got yesterday that I'm not getting right now, again, we're at room temperature and it's not a little bit chilly from the truck ride here. One note that I got yesterday was apple pie. Like, ooey gooey baked apple pie. Yeah, this needs a little water, I think. A couple drops of water. There it is. So this apple pie, really fruity stuff is jumping out of the glass with a little water. Oh my God. Just a little bit of water. I typically do not like American whiskeys with water in them. It just usually hurts more than it helps. Oh my God, Matt. Try that with a few drops, dude. So, everybody, keep an eye out on Backbone Bourbon. I've had a bunch of their 4 and 5 year picks, and they're fine. This stuff, every 8.5 year pick I've had so far now, which is a grand total of 2. Hopefully I can get the Junkies Friday when it drops. So tomorrow. They've all been phenomenal, and I'm hoping that the Junkies is the same. Damn. So if Mark Vasco says we started with wine and then moved into whiskey. Trev drinks a lot of wine. The vodka wrench. Did I see Daniel's doing some wine tasting? 3 days of wine tasting in the Bay Area. Awesome, man. Very cool. Well, I'm going to call it there for Matt's bottle because there's not much more to say. It's a little closed off on the nose at cast strength. A few drops of water opens it up really well. It's got that classic 21% rye MGP characteristic to it, which is cinnamons, burnt cherry, burnt orange, woodiness. This one goes above and beyond with a little bit of vanilla to show some extra age. Adding the water opens up dark purple, black fruits, and some apple pie. Just like quintessential MGP at the highest level for what 8.5 years can be. It's great. Joe, I've never tried any Fox and Odin. And I don't even know what the consensus on it is. I haven't heard enough about, other people trying it whose palates I really trust. Jeb says, I used to work at a winery, nothing better than smelling the yeast during fermentation during harvest. That's awesome. All right, Bev, have a good night. Merry Christmas to you. Let's get into this blind flight. So, I think we're going to get back into, I think I'm going to do a giveaway next week, next Thursday night, as long as I'm on. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the stream, I am getting sick right now. My nose and palate are still together, but waking up tomorrow morning could be the end of it, the end of everything for about a week. Assuming I'm on next week, which is the day before a Very Merry Matt Madness, I'll do a giveaway next week. I'll try to do a big one. Kind of, Christmas, New Year's. And maybe next week can be the official, 2-year channelversary since I missed that last month. Or maybe I can just let that go and wait on year 3. All right. So it's blind flight time. So here we go. Sarah was in here for quite a while earlier pouring these. So here's the test card. Let's check out the focus here. It should be focusing on the glasses, so if I put it right here, y'all should be able to see it fairly easily. Although the minute that I do that, of course, it focuses on the water bottle. So we'll just see as we get moving. If you all can see it. If not, you can let me know as we go. As I mentioned, the 5 things that I'm going to try identifying for the whiskeys tonight before I put them in an order from favorite to least favorite is going to be type of whiskey. I'm going to write this down for myself. Blind, and this is 1222. So I'm going to identify type, age, proof, distiller, and label. All right, so here we go. I see some people have dropped off. I know I'm boring. And also, I think the likes and some other channels are probably on now. So if you do have to run, thank you so much for being here. If you're jumping back and forth, I appreciate that too. And if you're sticking around, I appreciate that even a little bit extra. Hit the like button on your way out if you wouldn't mind, or if you haven't hit it yet. And let's get into this. So let's get into these are not ABC. These are 1, 2, 3s. So I'm going to change this in my phone. And actually what I want to do is I want to go left to right for you guys. I don't want to mix these up. Let's bring 2 here. 4 and 5. Feels like a game show. All right. The likes are on at 9:30 my time. Okay. Thanks, Jay. All right, so let's get into this. Glass 1. I am going to show you guys what is in glass 1. All right, so I'm going to turn my head. There we go. This is in glass 1. Please, no spoilers in the chat. All right. And that's going to go down, and I'm going to turn my head back, and here we go. Move that over. So let's check out glass 1. Joe. If it's the Chateau de la Baude Batch 2, the answer is no for me. Unless you've opened your first one and you like it. But if it's Batch 2, which I would imagine it is, at 107 proof, no. Trev. Glass 1's Malort. All right, glass 1 is really sweet. Jay, I wish I owned a Pappy 23. So glass 1 is super, super sweet. There's some banana notes. There's some grape notes. There's a textured minerality to glass 1 that reminds me of like Dickel maybe. Remember, guys in the chat, please no spoilers as we go. Don't if I show you a Jack Daniel's product, don't ask a question immediately about Jack Daniel. Like, just don't be silly. Don't be silly. Please. We've had that happen too many times. So, glass 1 is challenging. I would say I'm feeling like this is like 8 to 10 years old. Some banana is driving me towards a Brown Foreman or a Barton product maybe. But it does feel like it could be finished. Like you could convince me this is finished in some sort of a wine cask. Yeah, Christine, I put down it was probably like this much in the bottom of a bottle of Malort. And it was like when I was I was hammered before I chugged that. And then when I looked at it, it was like, oh, that's not that much Malort. And then midway through the chug, I was like, oh shit, this is a lot. And I can't stop now. So I had to finish it. I don't hate it. This is so strange, this whiskey. It's like artificially sweet. But now I'm starting to get like MGP vibe. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. I'm going to take a sip now. What is that? That has to be finished. Let me just remind you guys what this is real quick. All right. It's face down. I'm going to get there. Turn my head. Okay. It's up. And down. And I'm back now. Okay. This almost has a... Wow, this almost has a scotchy vibe to it. All of this... Okay, so I mentioned earlier, it's really sweet. It's kind of dickily. and there's a breadiness, like a toasted breadiness to it. Yeah, Trev. Hey, man, you may as well do that flight on your own. I already did that flight. So my live stream last week, this is why I was giving you shit earlier. The live stream last week, Sarah forgot to pour me a blind, and it was my fault. And in the stream, Amy was like, go ahead and do that flight. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I texted you about it a couple times, and you never answered me. So then it's like, fuck it. And I just did the flight last week. So you can do that flight on your own, although I don't know if you have the answers to it. I don't know if Amy sent both of us the answers or just me. But she's going to send us a different one to do together. So, Ben, this is picked from my bottles, and I told Sarah tonight no theme, because last time we did a theme, knowing that there was a theme, and then me knowing a couple of the bottles in the flight, like, I for sure knew them, so that it helped me do those bottle guesses and then connect the theme between them for the other bottles. So it was almost an unfair advantage in a way, so I said no theme tonight, I just want to go for this. Dude, I asked Amy multiple times if it was okay if I did it, and I think it was her idea, honestly, because I don't think I would have suggested it in the beginning. And so we went for it. Also, the one sucking, I would say that's the person that doesn't answer his texts. We're all busy, Trev. But you got to make time for your friends. I guess I'm not your friend. I wish I could cry on command. I would cry so freaking hard right now for you. It would have been better if I didn't trip over my words. Dude, this exact situation happened with me and Matt Porter. He called me, and I didn't realize it. And I was also unclothed. And then I immediately, upon returning clothing to my body, realized that he had called me. And I sent him a text and apologized. And I explained the situation to him. So... But he even left me a message, and the message was like, hang on, what did the message say? Let me pull up the message. It was very short, and he was just disappointed, I believe. Here we go.
This was important, and you failed. I'll remember that.
This was important, and you failed. I'll remember that. No, Amy, don't send him the answers. Make him do it on a night that one of us is there. Hashtag Trev cheats. I'm just kidding, Trev. All right, glass one. What am I doing here again? For the 59 of you still here, I don't know what you're doing here. Someone says, we watched him leave that message. Really? Was it a Friday? Oh my God, it was a Friday. Oh, I'm glad I didn't pick up. I would have been live. That's like a scene in a movie. Oh, see, guys, I haven't been watching his Advent. I'm sorry, Matt. There's so much Advent. I have not been involved in any of that because it's too deep of a rabbit hole. Too committal. Can someone tell me which video that is? Actually, well, it would be on the 9th, but maybe he didn't release it on the 9th. So if anybody knows the video, please let me know. All right, so let me just try to get a couple stats on glass one. I have no idea what this bottle is. I have no idea. It's not high proof. I'm going to say it's 100. It's a little hotter on the nose, but not on the palate. Let's split the difference. Let's say 102 proof. Age on this? I'm going to say age on glass one I'm going to go higher than I was thinking. I mean, the finish is making it feel a little more aged, what I presume is the finish. I would say age on this is probably, I said 8 to 10 earlier. I'm going to jump higher than that. I'm going to go 11. I'm just trying to go by stats right now. Type of whiskey. I'm going to say this is definitely finished. And to be honest with you, this is either bourbon or some sort of blended whiskey. Man, what is this? This is a freak. I don't want to turn around and look. I really don't. But I might. I don't know. I have no idea what this whiskey is. I'll come back to it. Yeah. Label I don't know and distiller I don't know, so we'll come back to that. Let's go to glass 2. Let me show you guys what's in glass 2. Let me click over here, and there we go. Okay, I'm turning my head back now, and we'll go here. Cool. All right, so glass 2. That is more my style. And I'm sure, yes, I was going to say, I'm sure there's a color difference between these two. Glass 2 is much darker. Oh my gosh, glass 2 smells very good. Little rubbery, but very good. Wise guy says, damn, Porter, he watered your pick. Talk about a slap in the face. No, some things just need a little water. What about the 15-year backbones? I've never had any, and are those 15-year backbones bourbon, or are those light whiskey? That feels like it would be a light whiskey to me. Because I don't know that I've seen a backbone that old. That's so funny that he called me in a video. I thought... Oh, it wasn't on a live then. It was... We watched him leave that message, not on a live, but... Okay, in it... Right, in an Advent video. Because I was going to say, when he texted me back after I was like, hey, I was not in a position to answer my phone, I thought he said something about recording a video. That's so funny. Joe says they are light whiskey. Joe, what's up, man? Hey, I didn't know if you were here earlier, but if you were and you didn't say anything, sorry to rehash this, but I did pick this up on your recommendation. So I went and snagged a couple single varietal wines tonight and a couple other, blends, and I'm excited to get into this. All right, so glass 2, you guys just saw what it was. This feels extremely, God, what's the word for this? It's really dark, really woody. A little bit of that burnt quality that Matt's pick had to it, like burnt fruit notes. Yeah, slightly rubbery, cinnamon. It smells good. It smells pretty high proof, though. Big League, what's up? Hello to you, too, and happy holidays as well. Let's taste glass 2. Oh, wow. Oh, that's real. Oh, my God, that's good. That's really good. Oh, man, I hope that's not an expensive whiskey. Oh, I hope that's not expensive. Oh, it's going to be expensive. Shit. What is glass 2? Oh, the 15-year... Oh, I knew this, guys. It's Old Bones. It's the Old Bones. Sorry. Yes, it is the mystery 78.5 corn, Jim Beam stuff. No, Jeb, it's good. It's like, right now my palate is not primed for super high proof stuff. This feels pretty high proof. I mean, this is not King of Kentucky, is it? I mean, this is like, there are some elements of this that reminded me of King of Kentucky. Maybe not on the second sip. That first sip was very cool. Happy 50 year. All right. So, comparing glasses 1 and 2. Whoa. Whoa. Glass 1 smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I don't even just mean like, oh, the notes remind me of Cinnamon Toast Crunch if I combine, I'm smelling cinnamon, I'm smelling this. No, it literally smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Holy shit. Because of Glass 2. Oh, what is Glass 2, man? Okay, let me think about some stats here. Wow. My proofometer might be broken tonight, but I mean, I'm in like the 130 territory right now on proof for this. Maybe I'm going to call this 128 proof, Glass 2. Age. I mean, unfortunately, I don't really have a distillery guess on Glass 2 right now, so, you know, different distilleries age different ways. If I'm just, like, trying to really think in an absolute sense without thinking of a specific distillery, God, that's hard. If that's like an Old Forester single barrel, it's like 6 years old, you know? But if it's like something else, it could be like 9, 10. God, that's so hard. I'm going to say that's a bourbon. So I've got 2 out of my 5 pieces of information. Age is a question mark for me on Glass 2. Distiller is a question mark. Although I'm leaning towards Old Forester on Glass 2, or Brown-Forman, I guess, generally. It just has that Brown-Forman thing to it. It's not banana. It's like the high-proof stuff when you kind of lose some of the banana. Glass 1 smells so crazy. Dude, what is Glass 1? I don't know. I actually think I know. Glass 1. This completely just changed. Going back and forth between these two is making me smell Glass 1 in a totally different way. I said Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think I know what that is. And unfortunately, it's really specific to me. It's a single barrel, what I think it is. Okay, I gotta regroup. Amy found this. ADHD Advent Day 11. Trying to figure out the word dominatrix. Oh, you can't make this shit. Hang on, I gotta tell Sarah this. Are you awake? Remember when Matt called me? In a video that he put out, he was trying to think of the word dominatrix. I just said that is so perfect. Yeah, right. What made him think of... Yeah. I was like, Sarah, isn't that perfect? Anyways, finished or not on 2? I don't think 2 is finished, Andrew, but number 1 is 1,000,000% finished. And I'll tell you exactly what bottle it is. I'm going to bottle guess it, and I'm going to stop guessing stats, actually. Because this is a very deceptive bottle. And if this is wrong, I'm totally cool with that. But I'm just going to bottle guess and move on with my life. This is a Nulu honey finish. And the reason that this smells extra aged and weird and out there, and again, this could be totally wrong. I'm between 2 ideas for glass 1. But after smelling 2 and tasting it and going back, it's either my Nulu honey finish, rural in pick, which is 113 point... Is it 113.6 proof? It's something like that, I think. And it's like 4.5 years old. But the honey barrel that they used, Jay Porter, the honey barrel they used was unlike any other honey barrel I've ever. I mean, look, I've tasted like 20 honey barrel finished things at least. I went through a phase. Not proud of it. This one was completely different. But this thing was like competing. I have a backup of it. It was competing with like Bellmead honey, people were saying. It's so good. And it's because whatever kind of honey they had in that barrel, there was something special about it. I can't remember what it was. But that's what I'm going to guess glass 1 is, just so I can get away from it. My second guess was that it was Furcullen. I was thinking in my mind, blended whiskey. There's a finish note to it. Smells kind of like Dickel-y, like it could be in the blend. And Bardstown Bourbon Company did Furcullen, and the proof seemed right. But here's the thing. It still could be that. But I think it's that honey. But what happens sometimes with these young Nulu finished single barrels, Matt Porter actually is a great example. He put out Friggin' Apples, which is the apple brandy finished. People say, oh, that smells and tastes like Dickel, because sometimes young MGP in a finishing barrel develops this minerality to it. Friggin' Apples developed that, and I believe that this Nulu pick actually has a little bit of it too, if that's exactly what it is. We'll see, though. All right. Yeah, you guys did not learn it. Trust me, I'm just playing with you. But I do think it's funny, though. What I'm not playing with you about is that I was clothesless at the time that I was called, but the word has no bearing or no relationship to my relationship. I'll tell you that much. Anyways. Glass 2 is delicious. I don't know what it is. It legitimately could be King of Kentucky. You could really convince me that it's King of Kentucky. So I'm going to move on to glass 3. All right, so just so so that you guys can see. There we go. So you can see that I'm turning my head. Okay, turn it. Glass 3. Should be zoomed in on that now. And I'll put this down. Okay, and I'll turn back. Okay, so that was glass 3. Good. We'll go here. All right. Joe, don't say stuff like that. Don't say stuff like that. No spoilers. Even things that aren't spoilers can be spoilers. Because my brain is turning this whole time. You guys are killing me. Oh, I'm going to tell her about this. Jonathan Cook. Oh, I don't know who that is because my Sarah has an H on her name, so. What the? What is glass 3? This could not be more stark. It smells like hay and grass and golden apples. Pears. This is like the freaking. This is like a white wine. It's like this is like a white wine profile to me. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's really jarring. It smells like the color gold, if that makes any sense, with a fleck of green. No, dude, don't apologize. Just add the H, and you're right on. Exactly. Jeb, I was literally thinking, like, what white wine would that be? I don't know yet, but I'm going to learn. All right. I don't know if I like that. Maybe it's just in this flight. That is the grassiest shit ever. Oh my God. That's either like a Canadian rye, Blue Run Golden Rye, which is like a strange profile, kind of like this. But I feel like that's more watery. Oh man. I feel like I know what this is, but I can't place it. It's like not a High West product. There's also a little lemon note to it. Like, there's something to do with rye in here. I don't believe it's finished. God, this smells so familiar to me. Jonathan, that's awesome, man. Yeah, these are white wine notes. This is a strange whiskey, and it's definitely not a bourbon. My money right now is in like Canadian rye territory, or just Canadian whiskey territory, maybe more generally. It's not a light whiskey. That can't be a light whiskey. I don't know that a light whiskey would be way hotter than this. There's almost a Buffalo Trace vibe on this one. Honey sweetness. That's interesting. I wonder if there's a Sazerac product that I would have that could approximate something like this. I mean, this is so out of left field for me. Like, now I'm talking myself into, like, E.H. Taylor rye. I don't think that's what this is. Man, what the hell is this? The proof is not high. Like, the proof is feeling like it's right around 100 to me. The Buffalo Trace thing might have to be a giveaway for me to start going down that path. I'm going to say proof 100 proof. This has to be a rye. I don't know that I can call what kind. Let me compare it to glass 1, a more reasonable glass. That's not even true. Glass 2 is King of Kentucky. Come on, that has to be, right? It's so smoky. And something else that would approximate King of Kentucky would be Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. Damn. Jay Porter, I hope this is not a spoiler. No spoilers. No anti-spoilers either. No tricks. Andrew Kelly, no tricks. Come on, guys. Be more creative. Talk amongst yourselves without letting me know that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, talk about the pours, but don't let me know that you are. All right, no spoilers. All right. Joe, this is a good question. Do you have any... Thank you for the question. Thank you for breaking up the monotony of this blind flight. Something not really unobtainium. Ooh, looking for a present. Well, Joe, it depends on your price range present. I mean, if I'm going to go price ranges right now, I don't know. I'm not thinking specifically about, let's say, current releases of the year, okay? I'm just thinking generally about price range. $30, Cooper's Craft 100. $40 to $50, which is a weird price range. Let me turn around and look. $40 to $50 might be tough. At that point, you might look for a store pick of something unique like that. 60, 70, if you can find a Larceny Barrel Proof C922 at 60 for 60, and for 70, if you can find an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C922 all day. Those two batches, best batches of the year by a country mile. If you go up to $80 and it's somebody who maybe drinks a lot of Buffalo Trace, get a Heaven's Door 10-year Decades. It's a very smooth drinker. Super good. And then if you're going to go 100 and above, I'm going Calumet 16. Not my favorite pour, but a ton of people love it. So those are kind of my recommendations. The Larceny and Elijah Craig might be harder to find, and so if that's the case, I'm trying to think of what a good $60 to $70 bottle would be. Oh, Dustin, this is a great call-out. Sagamore 8-year. Great call-out. Roy, no, not my best. I mean, I still need to review it and everything like that, but I like it. It's just there's something about it that's overdone for me. And then obviously a great fallback is Rare Breed. But to me, Rare Breed is declining a little bit, you know, when I did my comparison of some different batches. And so ECBP store picks, which are pretty widely available right now, that's a good call. These things vary widely, unfortunately, so it depends on if you're buying it for a really, really like seasoned whiskey drinker. You might want to be able to try the pick first if you can. Finished Starlight depends on the pick. Yeah, it depends on the pick. If I'm going to go blind into a Starlight pick, I'm going to go either a maple finish. You know, some people I know actually hate maple syrup, so that's tough. But I think generally we, as humans, like maple syrup. So like a maple finished bourbon, a double oaked rye are some of the best things that Starlight puts out. If you can find a double oaked rye. I'm looking down. Sauterne finished bourbon from Starlight. The Sauterne finish plays beautifully with their base bourbon profile. So Sauterne and maple, in my opinion, play into the brown sugar notes of their base bourbon profile. Wise guy's killing it. Not a fan of Rare Breed, since we fall back on Rare Breed. Truthfully, I don't fall back on Rare Breed. So the last couple times I've tasted it in comparisons and stuff, I tend to say that Rare Breed is, you know, not up to the hype and it's slipping a little bit. It's still a good option, and it's a good first barrel proofer. I think another good first barrel proofer is actually Bullet Barrel Proof, to get people into a higher proof profile. And I haven't tasted a Bullet barrel strength in a couple of batches, so I can't speak to it currently. But yeah, I think Rare Breed from where it was, like I have an older batch from 2020 that's really good, and the non-chill filtered is great. But the current 22 batch I have is not very good, so I don't disagree, Wise Guy. And to this point, Scott down here, Russell store picks. There you go. Better option. Those have been so few and far between around my area, though. Like, just even the shelf version. Oh, my God. $4.25 on a Kentucky Owl bourbon batch that's not blended by Dixon? Yeah, no. Not at all. Andrew Kelly, I do think that's absolutely the case. I also think because that is the case, it's less curated, it feels like. Michael, I've got a friend that does not like maple syrup, which is crazy. Kyle Kennedy, if you're watching this right now, I'm talking about you. Because I remember mentioning to you a maple finished bourbon, and you're like, I don't like maple syrup. Kyle lurks in the background sometimes. I got to get back to this blind flight. Holy bejeebus. Is Glass 2 King of Kentucky? I'm not inclined to believe right now that it is. I think it's something that's related. Let's go to Glass 4. I still need to get through Glass 4. God. All right, so here we go. I'm going to turn. Okay, that's the focus point. Turn my head. Bring it here. That is Glass 4. And I'm going to put it down now. Turn my head back. And let's do this. Okay. Okay. So let's get into this one. Oh, that's a Buffalo Trace product. Oh, yeah. Dunny, what is up, man? Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Derek, did you get that? The OHLQ maple syrup finish? I was so curious about that, man. That, of all the things, Ohio dropped Weller foolproof and, you know, so many old elks that nobody gives a single shit. But that High West finish in maple syrup, I think I might be the most curious about that, dude. If you pop that open before we meet up, let me know. And no pressure to pop it open. Please. But if you do, that would be an awesome sample to swap around with. Because I have a really great Starlight maple finish that's kind of my benchmark for maple syrup finish bourbon. Andrew Kelly just put batch 9 of what? Oh, are you talking about Kentucky Owl? Yeah. I tried that for the first time, batch 9 at the Pours in the Park, and that was pretty freaking awesome. I didn't expect it to be that good, to be honest. Nice, Toshi. Sarah with an H is in his headphones reading in the card. No, what's in my headphones is the jazz that you guys are hearing too. Jeb, I am 1,000,000% interested. Dude, I joined the email list for the bottle, and what happened? I think for some reason, my phone didn't send the notification through that I got the email to go try to get it, and I don't think it would even ship to me anyways. I don't think Ohio's on the list, so I was going to have to find somebody to ship it to that would ship it to me. Yeah, dude, I wanted that bottle so bad. I'm jealous and excited that you got it. All right, let's go back to Glass 4, which I thought was Buffalo Trace. This might just be Buffalo Trace. No, this is feeling like Mash Bill 2. There's a little extra spice hanging around right now after that sip. That's actually really good. That's really good. Whatever that is. That could be oh God, that could be Blanton's. Oh no. If that's Blanton's and I'm here saying, "Oh, that's really good." I think that might be Blanton's. I'm gonna say that. I call it a Buffalo Trace product immediately. It's got this extra spice to it. I don't think it's Eagle Rare. Buffalo Trace itself would have a little more. It just wouldn't have that spice to it. I think it would have a little of a grapier note and less of this spice. What else does that leave? Blanton's. It leaves Elmer T. It leaves Hancock's. It leaves Rock Hill Farms. Well, Rock Hill Farms, actually. There's something a little vegetal in this, a little green. I'm feeling like this is an S. Actually, let me think about which Blanton's is open right now. I think S is open. I think my S is the one that I have open. So that's tough. I mean, proof-wise, I'm going to say this is Blanton's. I'm going to call this. I don't want to think about it anymore. Because, like, what's really the difference between... So here's the deal. Every one of these things, Blanton's, Hancock's, Elmer, Rock Hill, everything is a single barrel. You're not going to tell me that over the course of the last, let's make it fair, 5 years, that if you took one Blanton's, Hancock, Rock Hill, Elmer, if you took 4 of those and you, over the last 5 years, took one bottle of each, I mean, literally one bottle of each, you have 5 years worth of time. Let's say this. Let's say you took 10 bottles of each from 10 different barrels. You're not going to tell me that the profile is consistent enough barrel to barrel to clearly identify Hancock's, Elmer, Rock Hill, Blanton's. The proof difference, yes, could give it away, but the proof difference from 88.9, 90, 93 to 100 is subtle for the most part, 100 being the standout with Rock Hill. I don't believe whoever or however many people are selecting those single barrels that it's that consistent. I just don't. So to guess Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2 around 90 proof, to me is like a good enough guess for anybody. I'm not talking in my situation right now. I just mean like broadly speaking. If you just said this could be Blanton's, Elmer, or Hancock's, and you get any of those out of the 3 right, like I would give you full points on that answer. In this case, like this, but the perceived spice that I'm getting could in fact be proof, and it could be Colonel Taylor. So I don't know. I gotta get some water on my palate. Okay. I'm gonna call Blanton's for now. I'm gonna come back to it, but I know it's Buffalo Trace. All right, 5th and final pour of the night. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you are hanging out and you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Let's keep hanging out. I'm going to grab 5 over here. This is the glass. Okay, I'm going to turn my head. That's glass 5. All right. I'm going to sit it down and turn my head back. And there we go. Okay, let's go into glass 5, which is a super dark color. Old Forester 1910. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to stand by that. Yeah, I'm going to say that's 1910. Daniel, she's already, I'm sure she's already out, but let me check. Yeah, she's out, man. She's feeling worse than I am today. And actually, right now, like, I feel fine. I know I'm a little drunk. That's cool. But usually if I'm sick and I drink alcohol, I don't improve. You know what I mean? Like my nose and palate, I get so congested I can't even function. Knock on wood or particle board, whatever the hell this is. she's in rougher shape than I am, so I would normally just go wake her up and be like, hey, answer this question. But yeah, this is not, you know what? This is 1910, and I'll give myself a pass if this is the 1910 extra old. Because the new label 1910, I have the new label 1910, the old label 1910, and the 1910 extra old. The new 1910 and the extra old taste so similar. The old 1910 is much brighter. This is not the old 1910, in my opinion. Okay, glass 4, back to glass 3. Glass 3 I do not believe is E.H. Taylor Rye, which is what I was possibly thinking about. Glass 2. Okay, I think glass 2 is King of Kentucky. Because the barrel that I have is a little lackluster. I always want to believe that she wouldn't pour King of Kentucky for me in a flight because she knows how expensive it was. But maybe this is the time that she goes against that. Jonathan Cook, do you ever listen to Magic 99.7? I think you've mentioned this on the channel before because I believe I remember you asking because I listened to the Blitz when 99.7 became the Blitz. Glass 1, what did I say glass 1 was? Oh, that Nulu honey finish. It smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. All right, glass 3. Glass 3 is my wild card. Because the other ones, I think I have a guess for all of them. Glass 3 is definitely my least favorite of the bunch. I'm going to be so pissed when I find out what glass 3 is. Let me remind you guys what it is. Okay, let me get this here so the focus is right. Okay. And I'll turn my head. Reminder, that is what is in glass 3. Okay. Dunny, if you like port finished stuff, here, hang on. There you go. The Glendronach Portwood. Let's put it in a nice glass, just real quick. It's got that nice little tinge of pink in the color from the port cask. Super duper sweet, the Portwood. Almond. White cake, raspberry jam, cocoa powder, but bright and sweet and aromatic jumping out of the glass. This is like, I don't have a good comparison, but very much cocoa powder and raspberry jam with that lightness of the white cake. On the palate, you actually get a nice bit of pepper spice, like a lot of pepper, and hints of peat. Just a hint of peat going on the palate. What do they say? Victoria Plum, bramble, I agree with that. Strawberry jam. Okay, strawberry makes more sense than raspberry. Good call. Top note to cherry blossom and honeysuckle, which is this brightness I'm talking about. Layers upon layers of rich fruit. And they don't mention any nuttiness, but I'm getting a lot of almond. And they don't mention any peat or smokiness, but there's a slight tinge of it. So, yeah. Who asked that? Dunny. If you like port finished, you like sweet, this is not like the Quinta Ruban from Glenmorangie. But at $100, yeah, I would buy this for sure. I'm just a Glendronach fanboy through and through. I know the recent things that have gone on and, you know, the presumption that they're going to be non-chill filtered or chill filtered. I know, but still a big fan. Last thing I need to do is peg glass 3 here. I know what this whiskey is, but I just cannot peg it. Like I told you guys earlier, those white wine notes, golden apple, pear, just super bright, grass, hay. Dustin, A117. It's got the dustiness on it. C919 they're almost equal in my eyes. Get both, but A117. And if you take the 919, get me the A17. Because I only have one more backup. And that's my go-to. They're both my go-to. I mean, it's just not a good comparison. I got to make a decision on this glass 3. I don't have a label guess, but I do. I'm going to say this is Blue Run Golden Rye, and I'm just going to call it quits. I'm going to hedge my bets. And I'm going to say because I don't remember the proof. I remember it's low. I'm going to say the proof here, I'm going to say it's a 95 proof rye. What else do I need to guess? Age? Who knows? It's got a decent bit of age to it. I'm going to say 7 years, Blue Run Golden Rye. And distiller, I guess I don't have a distiller guess, and Blue Run is definitely not distilling this stuff, so. Daniel, it's 11. Ask Darrell about this stuff, because he's got 11, 10, 12 maybe, and 11 is not his favorite. Dustin, 920 is good. All right, I'm going to reveal these. My order, glass 3 is in last place, easy. I want to do this for you guys left to right, so that's going to be over here. So glass 3 is in last place. Okay. Let's see. First place. Okay, so it's going to go 2. Oh, shit, I just dropped one. And it might be face up. If I dropped it, it might be face up. If it's face up, I'm going to just try to catch the edge of it. No, it's not face up. Okay. Oh, my God. If you guys could see how small this room is. All right, 2, 4, 5, 1. It's between 5 and 1. Okay, I got my order. All right. So, let's do this. All right, so in last place, glass 3. This is the one that I don't know. I'm going to say 95 proof rye, 7 years old. It's so deceptive on the nose. But my bottle guess really, which trumps all of this, I'm going to say is Blue Run Golden Rye. All right, so yeah. Weird. Weird. It's Broken Barrel Heresy, which I'm legitimately, I have a sheet of reviews coming up to shoot, and that is, I think, the second on my list of distiller scent stuff. So that's a weird one. I would have never pegged that as 105 proof. No. It's MGP, I think, right? Where is it? 105. Yeah, it's a 95.5 rye, and it's finished. Damn. Someone asked me... No, not about this. Someone asked me about, I think, glass 2 if it was finished. Oh. This is not MGP. This is Green River. Because it's Owensboro, Kentucky, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. I got that completely wrong. I said 7 years. There's no way that's 7 years old. It's probably 2 or 4. Jeez. That's a weird one. All right. Glass 1 is next. I had a hard time with this. I was thinking it was a blended whiskey. Initial guess was 102 proof, 11 years. Because I was hedging on the fact that it was for Cullen from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Then I changed my mind, and I'm just going to go with my bottle guess, which I believe is 113.6 proof, if I remember the correct bottle, which is the Nulu Honey Finished Rural Inn Pick, 4.5 years old. Yes, there it is. 113.2, not 0.6 over here. But it is 4 years, 1 month. Yeah, it's so young. It tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I don't just mean it suggests it. It legitimately tastes like it. All right. Next, number 5. I just said, I literally smelled this and tasted it and said this is 1910. Boom. I'm telling you. It was so obvious. All you need to do for this one, for 1910, color, really dark, okay? Smell it. You get the Old Forester Banana. You get the Old Forester Bright Cherry. But there's something else, which is a ton of dark chocolate notes. That's all you need. And then you taste it to confirm, because when you see a color this dark, you imagine that it could be a high proof. High proof or double-barreled because of the color. When you smell it, you get these notes that confirm 1910. In your mind, the next step is, okay, but what if it's not double-barreled and the color is coming from proof? So taste it. It goes down silky smooth, unobtrusive. That's 1910. Okay? Now, second place, glass 4. This is the one I said was Blanton's. It's a Buffalo Trace product. I know that for sure. Is it mash bill 1 or 2? I don't know. The additional spice is either coming from mash bill 2 or it's actually additional proof from a 100 proof mash bill 1 product like an E.H. Taylor. My money's on mash bill 2. I called it Blanton's. As I smell it right now, I think this is Elmer T. Lee. I'm changing my answer. And I got them both wrong. That is E.H. Taylor Small Batch. And that's good as gold. Because I would have thought that was a Blanton's pick or an E.H. or an Elmer T. And like I said, it could have been, that spice could have been coming from the proof and not the actual spice itself, the rye and the mash bill. Either way, it didn't come across youthful. And finally, glass 2. This one's tough because did Sarah pour me King of Kentucky? I'm going to say yes. My proof guess was 128. Bourbon, distiller, Old Forester. And then I said, well, probably Brown-Forman more generally. Age. I said this could be a lot of ages. I'm just going to say it's King of Kentucky. This makes so much sense. Wow. I also have a question about a bottle, Daniel. I also have a question about a bottle because I have 2 batches open. So it's either the Darth Vader batch or batch 61, which I can't remember the name of that one. I believe that is batch 61, which I have always said is my favorite batch of cigar blend to a weird degree because I couldn't understand why it was so good. And batch 58, which is Darth Vader, everyone's like, this is amazing. Highest proof. Dude, this batch 61. I guess I smell it now. And someone asked me if I thought this was finished earlier. And I said no. And that hint of banana to go along with all the molasses, I attributed to Brown Foreman. Whereas in reality, where is that banana coming from? The high proportion of aged Barton that she has in this blend, aka Lucky 7 picks. Okay? That... Dude. Damn. So... Final order. In first place, cigar blend. I think batch 61. I'll confirm real quick. I will confirm this for you. I'll just take a few nips off the top. So here's 61. It might not be. I think it's 58. I think it's the Darth Vader batch. It's the Darth Vader batch. 95% sure. So batch 58. That's... Let's check it. Okay. Okay. So that's the tricky thing. Like, so when I first smelled it and tasted it, this is the thing about King of Kentucky for me. When I smell and taste King of Kentucky, generally I'm like, that's King of Kentucky. And this one was like, well, maybe. That might be. And it's confusing and I don't know. Usually if that's the case, it is not King of Kentucky. King of Kentucky is like, here I am. You know this flavor. Here we go. And the comparison, it wouldn't even stack up. King of Kentucky is remarkably better. But in this blind, if I'm assuming it's batch 58 cigar blend, unbelievable. My God. Michael, you can continue to be confused. It's good to not be completely transparent. Two Turtle Doves, batch 61. Yeah, and 58. I think it's 58, which I guess I understand the hype now. That's just a fantastic batch. All right. Damn. So I have a batch 77 and a batch 73 in my basement. Return of the Dark One and Freebird. Those are the two backups I have. They're from different runs than these ones. But you know what? Last pour of the night. God, there's shit all over this floor. I'm intoxicated enough that it's like a little dangerous to try to walk around. If you could see the floor behind me, you would understand what I'm talking about. So this is Cigar Blend 131 from Amy Boehm. I'm going to taste this real quick. Now that that's on my palate, batch 58 or 61, let's taste 131, which people are complaining a little bit about. Oh, that doesn't even smell the same. That doesn't even smell remotely close. What? Guys, this... Oh, no. Oh, my God. This smells like the 4-year Nulu honey-finished single barrel. It smells... Oh, no. I can't recommend that. I love Nancy Fraley. I don't think that's it. I don't want to end on that note. So the new cigar blends, if that's what the profile is, you know what that tastes like? Not exactly like it because this has Dickel in the blend. Tastes like the new Chateau de Labade, but spicier. Without that Dickel note. And it makes sense. This is demonstrating to me now how Armagnac casks interact with young whiskey. It adds grittiness and texture, and minerality, which I know a lot of people don't like that descriptor. That's what it adds. It doesn't add the deep, dark, rich flavors, but when you put, it seems to me now that I can make this statement, when you put a heavily aged whiskey, 10 to 12 year MGP, 14 year Barton, whatever, into an Armagnac cask a la Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend batches 1 through 80 or whatever it is, Chateau de Labade batch 1, etc., you get dark tobacco notes. So the new cigar blends, if that's what they taste like, batch 131, that is a no-go. No, Roy, it is not similar to Remus 5, man. It tastes like 4 to 6 year MGP with a little twist. Daniel, and I'm not blaming, no, and let me be clear, I am not blaming Nancy on this because I don't know what the setup is behind the scenes for all this stuff, but this ain't it. Amy, that's interesting. It's not just not the best, and Amy, and you know, Nancy shouldn't dog her own work, and you know, as somebody doing something that you love, and as a professional, you know, you shouldn't be involved in something that you don't believe in. But like, I'm glad she was honest about it. But like, if they're all going to be like this moving forward, I mean, that's a big problem. So, no, Joe, it's not just not as good. It's just a fundamental. It's like you moved from the top 5% of whiskeydom, I guess I'm going to invent that word now. You've went from there to like the bottom 25%. But it's not this is the thing. $180 MSRP? No. Not at all. Yeah. It's remarkably different. The side-by-side is when it's really the most exposed. So I don't want to end on that note. So what note should I end on? I'll just take a rip off the King of Kentucky, I guess. Guys, I'm going to go over to Whiskey Row. I'm a little bit late. It's not great. So I'm going to do that. I think he sent me a StreamYard link, David. So I'm out of here. I'm going to show up a little tipsy. Got to pee first. So I got to hustle. Cheers. Thank you for hanging out. Next week, I will be here unless I'm too sick. You'll hear from me if that's the case. Patrons, I'll let you know about this month's giveaway. And I think that's it. Look out for new videos as long as I'm not too sick to make them. Daniel P. says, grab a sample from your collection. What am I going to grab? Oh no, what am I going to grab? I'm in too deep. I am in too deep. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Ezra Brooks, 1977, 15-year, distilled in 62. Cheers, guys. Have a great holiday. Hang out at Whiskey Row. I'll see you there. Oh my God, that's so good.